Hey everybody, welcome to the live. Got my phone set up so I can text if anybody says anything in the chat. Be able to see it. All right, so back at it. Had another idea for this thing, and I'll make this available on Gumroad as well. And what I'll do is I'll just overwrite this thing. I'll overwrite the file on Gumroad with whatever we make here. So here's the plan. I've already got the code written in a manner of speaking with Serpens code. And I've got my operators for the bevels and everything. And so I'm effectively just going to be copy pasting the code to create extra buttons for the bevel. So I was kind of thinking, hey, an intensity level of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then the auto smooth. And then we can put this anywhere we want in the interface. It doesn't have to stay here. So for example, if I wanted to, I can come over here to my add a panel modifier, and I'll click this. Come back to the layout, and now I can add that specifically to my previous add-on. If I just want to enhance it, you can add it to any add-on you want. I can put it over here, which is funny. Let's see, object menu. Should be able to paste it in here as well. It may not allow me to do that. I'm not going to throw it in the add-on. Let's see. I should have. It's funny, all those buttons disappeared. But anyways, so I can come over to, is this the workspace? It's hard to see now with that. So what I'll do actually is I'm going to come back and select that. And I want to end up, I think right here. No, yeah. I want to active workspace is where I want to be. So I'm actually going to come back over. And let's grab that property again. This is my larger workspace. I got a few different workspaces here just to make it easy. Yeah, here we go. So I could set this up in the active tool workspace, but then again, it's not in the bevel. It doesn't make sense, right? So I don't like that, but just to show you. So you can do whatever you want. And I want it right above this. All right, so 1, 2, 3. And what I'll do, I'll just make another button because this is tied to a separate operator. So I have to program all these. And I'll just do this live. So if everything falls apart, it's just the way it is. I do have some coffee. If you guys don't have coffee, you should get some. Oh my gosh. It's early on a Sunday. Yeah, so I'm going to start doing more lives on Sunday. I just project on Sundays for now. And what we'll do is I'll make add-ons, so the more I learn about this software, then I can make add-ons and just give them to you guys free. I think it's fun, right? So it's another way to operate the channel in a way that benefits and keeps the Blender motto alive. Was like, if it's free. All right, so I've got this set up 1, 2. So my third operator, I need to knock that off, come down to my code block, and this works a lot like geometry nodes. You'd be surprised. What I'll do is I'll modify this operator to, I'll just call it bev3. Not gonna let me do it. Bev3. All right, now that I knocked that off, it didn't screw anything up, so that's good. And I'll select bev3. If you guys can see that or not. All right, so now this button is going to call an operator that has the exact same function. So what I have to do is I have to come in here and change the function. But first, I'm going to come over here, and I've got some integers. I got a float value set up for the bevel amount. See, it's 0.01, 0.1. And what we can do is this would be your this is your last ditch effort right here. So if you hit 0.001 in your bevel, that's it. All right, that's the lowest bevel setting you can get and still technically have a bevel. And I think for segments is pretty safe, but we can try it out with 2. And I got an integer value set to the property on the set property here. You don't have to know all that stuff. I'm not trying to teach Serpens here, but we're just making the add-on. And I didn't plug in that button, so I'm going to go to my row node and click to drag out the interface wire. And now we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there's a way to separate all this, but I'm going to bring the final bevel out and plug it in up here in just a minute, and we'll have the auto smooth in the back. And I've got a radians to degree node, which puts it at 30. So I could change it to anything I want and have it preset over here, which I think is pretty cool. If you don't have Serpens, it's like $20, $24 or something like that. It's absolutely worth it. I think everybody can learn this. So it's like, I'm not trying to hold the, whatever you want to call it. I'm not trying to like hold down the market here with the add-ons, because I do have this add-on. And if you buy this for $5 on Blender Market, it's got a ton of stuff in it. It supports the channel. And at some point I'll just be doing this and giving away, you know, free add-ons, and then maybe some other pay ones at some point. But the general idea is just to help everybody. And so let me see. I'm checking my live stuff. Yeah, everything looks good. All right. Now what I want to do is I've got bevel 1, 2, and 3. And I got this return function. I have not closed off the execute yet. But the bevel still works. Everything works fine. I seem to get errors in 3.4 when I close it off for some reason. So the width, everything else looks good. This one is for 8. So, okay, that's where I was. I was modifying the first one. Okay, so the second one needs to step it up and be 4 segments. Okay, so it's a progression 1 through 5. And so this one will be 4. The next one will add more to it. And I want to take the other integer value to something like 0.002, which would bring the bevel up and work really nicely in some things. I know it says 0, but it's not. Excuse me. Make sure I didn't mute myself if I cough really loud. Coffee gets me like that. All right, so this is kind of boring stuff. I know I got like 1 viewer in here right now. It's all good though. Check this out. So that's set to 0.002. And so if I click 2, I get 4 in 0.002. Very nice. And then if I come over here to the 0.001 with 2, and I click 1, it'll automatically reset that. So that's awesome. I really like how that works. So this auto bevel thing is going to be cool. It's going to be a progression. And I'm going to fix these buttons up a little bit too. And remember, I haven't plugged in the auto smooth yet or any of that. Let me see. Where's my other layout? Was it shading? No, it was scripting. There we go. So you can see everything. And so you got a context set up. Here's where I can kind of like right click and get the context for the bevel. And then I can come in here and pull up the context. And then I've got something like the mark sharp and all this fun stuff. So I can grab that Serpens property. And like I said, I'm not trying to teach all this stuff. And Shift V is the hotkey. I can drop this in as an operator, well, tie it to an operator and have it mark sharp. But I'm not doing all that. I'm leaving a few things up to you guys. So when I post this add-on, you guys can just have it. All right, so now I've done 4 segments on the previous one. Now we're going to go down to the next float. And this is at 0.002. So, well, that was 0.02 because I had it bumped up. So 0.005. I think that's a safe jump. Because the previous 2 bevels, like this one gives you 0.002, this one gives you 0.001, and then so on. Now for 3, 0.005. And 8 segments, which I actually want to change the segments to 6. Here we go. Let me zoom in. I don't know if anybody can see this. I can't stand what guys do tutorial, and they've got the nodes like out here, and you're like, man, my contacts are blurry. What's going on? It's so far, I can't see anything. It's super annoying. So go at the what I call the beginner pace, and then zoom in on everything. Give you guys a second to look. So now, if I hit 3, I get 6 segments. Geometry clamp overlamp is always off so you can see your errors. And the shading, hard and normals, is always on. You could turn it off if you don't want it on, but you just correct it. You know what? You could do a basic bevel reset button too. You could do all kind of things. There's no limit really. All right, so that's good. So I want to copy this block out again, Shift D, and I will change this operator to Bev4. I believe we're on version 4 here. Now I've got to come back up. The code's getting thick now, man. It's getting thick. And I got to select, assign this button to that operator, Bev4. And so Bev4 will work and do what we want. And there's other things I can do. I could tie in the auto smooth button now if I wanted to, but I'm not going to, because I'm not done yet. And I come all the way back down. And so this one was 0.005, so 0.01, just kind of stepping the bevel up. And we'll do a test on all this in just a minute, and we'll kind of model this real quick like I did in the previous live. And I want to take these segments to 8 now. And I think the number 5 will just have up to 10 segments. If you want something above that, let me know in the comments below. All right, so that looks good. I think that's basically it. So the workflow kind of starts speeding up at this point. And so we'll just do number 5. So I'll call this Bev5. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Segments to 10. And then I want to take the float value up a bit higher this time. And I'm thinking we'll just go to 0.1. Yep, that should work fine. And now I want to create another button. I'll Shift D, make another button, pull in my row node interface wire again, attach that. This is Bev4, don't want that, blank it out, go to Bev5. And now this button could be attached to a Blender property as well, which is really cool. So I could just right click, paste or copy it, and then just left click, paste it in. It's stupid. And so we can have like endless fun here making add-ons. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So it's good to check what's going on. So 5. And what I think we'll do, let's see if I can manage it. Let's plug in this button now. And so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and auto smooth. What does 5 do yet? Yeah, so it's got the 10 segment. You can see what it did over here. It added quite a bit. And then I can go ahead and auto smooth. That's actually pretty good. So it just kind of depends on what you want to do. And now, this one with the amount could literally be 1 segment. This could be our chamfer. Now that I think about it, if I hit there and hit 5, I'm not going to chamfer it out really. Well, I guess it wouldn't technically be. It's 1 segment. I mean, kind of. So if I brought this back, maybe. Ugly. No, I'm going to stick with 10 segments here just to keep that way we want it. It kind of looks like a nice smooth chamfer. However, if I shade that smooth, shade it flat again, no. But let's grab this edge here. Oh, I don't have this set up. This is a pain. What I'll do, and it's not actually beveled. I wonder if I could just mark that sharp. I don't want to do that. I want to crease it. So I'll use the edge crease feature. Double tap G and slide that down. Hold down Shift a little bit. Let's come out of there. That didn't really do what I wanted. It's okay. So maybe another loop cut right here and scale it in to get the effect. What in the world did that thing just do? It's got shading errors. See, I can bring it back on the intensity, and that's the idea. There you go. That's what I wanted. So the intensity levels for the bevel with the auto smooth. So you can do what you want and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and check your intensity levels. Now, what else do I want to do with this? Let's see. I think that's it. I do want to try to, and we want to try to add a separator in here. Let's see if this works. And I won't be that guy that doesn't zoom in. And let's see here. Can I get that to work? All right, it's not necessarily going to do what I want. I'll play with that in another live. Kind of keep things going here. Now I have an alignment, so I can align all these to make them look a little bit smoother. And I wonder if I can do the icons with this. Let's see. Is there something that looks like it's a consecutive 1 through 5 type of deal here? F1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just for the fun of it. Don't press F1. It's not going to work, guys. I just want to see if I could choose an icon, because sometimes when you cram the buttons down, it really just doesn't work. And so I want to find, let's see. There's only one icon for the bevel, and that kind of sucks. So I can go ahead and choose a few icons here. Maybe just something like that, just to keep it going. You can see that it's a bevel, just to give it an identification. And I think we could just rinse and repeat all that. I want the buttons to scrunch up anyways. I want them to be as small as possible. And then for number 5, I actually want it to be clear, so it shows there's something else going on here. I didn't get 3. There we go. Cool. All right, so you got bevel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's a progression to auto shade smooth. Do I have the warning thing on this? Can I do the alert? Yeah, we can do the alert. It should still work. Yeah, it still works. All right, I'm gonna play around with this a little bit. It is working. Wow, that is so minute. The changes are so tiny in here. It's very precise, and that's actually going to help us out. All right, so let's save. So if I have a crash, I don't cry about it. All right, now I want to take this add-on. I'll go to Bevel Magic, and this will now be 2.0. We're going to be fancy. We're going to call it 2.0.1, just for the fun of it. Now I'm going to export that add-on. You didn't see it, but let me do that again. Documents. Where are you at, Frick? Documents. There we go. I need more coffee. Okay, so 2.1.0, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to overwrite the old one just so it shows. Now you see this right here. You can upload this to the Serpens. It's like the Blender market, but for Serpens. And you can throw your add-on on there and sell it. So if you make something really cool, you can just go on Serpens and sell it, man. Or you can give it away free. Free is like the Blender way, right? But we don't survive off of free. So, and I'm hoping to make a business, kind of a model where people get tons and tons of help, but the channel is supported. That's just the goal. That's just the goal. All right, so that add-on is straight. Now what I want to do, I'll click a new general. Might have to, let's see, is it called Bevel Magic? Yeah, it's there, so I'm gonna remove that and go find it. Let's go to Bevel Magic 2.1, the fancy version, and install it. Should be good. I don't need a timeline in this episode. Throw in a little cylinder, go down here. Yeah. All right, so it's there. So I'll throw in the bevel, and we can start playing around with this thing. So if I throw this in and auto smooth it, you get this very tiny bevel. I don't think you can see that. Let me turn on cavity. Shame on me. Bring up the ridge, and it makes it look really nice. Now you can see that. You should be able to see it anyways. All right, so this is super cool. Let's go ahead and model this thing. I'm going to kill the bevel. Did it stay? Oh, it's just the, that's the cavity. So what I want to do I have the hard surface toolbox on this? I do. Cool beans. All right, so you're kind of bored doing the same thing over and over again. Oh, wow. What are we doing here? Okay, forget that. Alt-Y on my add-on allows me to bridge loops. I'm going to throw like a crap ton of loops in there. And on the outside, because I don't care. I like it like that. As long as those loops don't interfere, and if they do, should have a loop selection here. Double tap G to bring that down. I will grab this edge loop and add a chamfer, but see, that chamfer is just going straight down. It looks terrible. So let's see if I apply my scale. My all transform should fix that. No guarantees. All right, so that's funky. Do I have some other edges or something going on that I just don't like? Maybe it was the way I bridged it. Select those edges. No, it's still doing it. All right, so G and Z, bring that down. That, and now it's doing it. Yeah, so something to do with my operation. I got to fix the bridge edge loops is doing that. It's in the operation. That is on me. All right, so go to the Z, and I will tool the bottom because I don't want to keep like screwing around with everything. And what it did is it didn't do the mirror the right way. I got to turn it on. Go back to the Z, and I guess I could just apply. Get out of there. So now that won't happen. I can just tool it, and boom, it'll be there. No modifiers to play with. That's another thing with this that I really like, is able to do. Pull up the carver tool. Go to circle. Let's create something here. You know what? I might go into grid modeler. I know you guys may not have all these, but this is just the way the live goes, you know? You're just using the tools you got. So I use carver tool a lot. Hard surface modeling, free add-on inside Blender. If you don't have it, go to preferences, type in carver, boom, it's on. If you have my add-on, you can invoke it right here. If you don't, then you have to press Control Shift X and it will bring that up as well. And you right click to get out of it. So I'm not going to use the carver tool though. I'm actually going to use the grid modeler for this. And a little bit of fun. Grid modeler is super fun. So let me go ahead and go to circle. I'm just going to cut some different things in, and then I can kind of like array some of these in here and make something kind of unique. All right, so maybe like right there. And I want to get rid of these. These aren't going to help me. Yeah, it's fine. I'll make a little Boolean cut in the top. And this is cool, right? Because you can turn on the Blender exact solver and it'll kind of clean up the Boolean cuts a little bit. And then you can kind of play with the depth and bring it all the way down. The height, probably a good idea not to mess with that too much. I think that looks pretty good. And just run that boolean straight through. Cool. And the auto shade smooth might clean up some of that, but I've got cavity on once again. So where you think you have shading errors, and that doesn't look great because I could have increased the segment count, but I didn't. The shading may look off with the cavity from time to time, so you might want to like fix that. What I'm doing is just making something that's going to work for. Extrude that. Too long normals with this one. I'll hold down shift to kind of bring it in like that. Maybe add a loop in here and do the same thing. So what I do is just I'm creating something that's going to bevel nicely. And I'll extrude that bad boy too. Maybe out. And I think we could go ahead and tool it and bring that other geometry to the bottom. So this is interesting. Go ahead and add the bevel. I'm not sure how it's going to act because of what I did here. That was pretty rough bevel, and the grid modeler doesn't always produce really nice results, so you got to really like work with it. So I'll throw the bevel in. All right, so that's your basic bevel. Here's intensity 1. And so you've got like a very, very small edge going on here. And there's intensity 2, intensity 3, 4, and then 5. And 5 creates a pretty heavy overlap, so you wouldn't use that on everything. So I can go back to like 3 on the intensity there. Shift A, let's drop in the cube. The cube will save our lives today. And so if I just jump in, throw a bevel here, and go straight to 5, it works on this one. And then I just auto smooth it, and it's good. You can see it's more accentuated here, so I'll step it down. And that's a very nice bevel at 4. 3 is pretty cool, 2 is pretty cool, and then 1 is that lifesaver bevel that I think is only going to work like on the Suzanne. So let's bring a Suzanne monkey in. G and X. I don't like that. I'm going to sub it one time. It's going to give us something else to work with. Maybe. All right, so that's cool. I just want to auto smooth that first. Do we have some edges? That's ugly. Let's try putting a bevel on it and see what happens. Ooh, the bevel cleaned it up. That's what I was hoping. All right, so we're going to start off with bevel level 1 for this. And maybe that's all you get away with. And I wouldn't really even put a bevel like on here. I would do edge bevel weight. And if you haven't done edge bevel weight, if you go to edge and you select something like this outer edge and then take it from angle to weight, all the other bevels are gone. And now if I go in and search, and I do not have my quick menu set up. So let's type in edge bevel weight, and you're going to get this little slider, and it's going to pull to blue on that edge. So just pull as far out as you can, left click and drop it. And now what you'll get is the intensity is only going to be here. So I could bring the intensity up now and create a bevel like that. And of course that amount is a little bit much. Or maybe, let me press 5. Maybe it's the segment count on this one. Start it back. Eesh. Nope. So we could fix that somewhere between 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't matter. 5 definitely starts to kill things unless it's a big model like that. And so 5 was no good for this one. 4 kind of shading errors. 3 starting to look a little better. 2. I think we just keep this one to 1. So it looks good. All right, so that's the add-on. I'll put this up on the Gumroad. I'm just going to overwrite the previous file because the previous file wasn't this good. And you'll have this available. And if it's in the red kind of bugs you, let me know so I won't change it because I'll leave it red. That way it bugs you. Ha ha ha. All right, so that's cool. I don't know what we did here. Let's fix that bevel by hitting 1. And that's fun, right? Makes it easy. Makes it easy. So I appreciate you guys watching. I will see y'all in the next live broadcast. I may be like doing a couple more today. We'll see if I got something, worth putting up. See you guys in the next one, and have a coffee on me.